Hey, welcome to another episode of Dumb Guys Talk About Fantasy Baseball. And today, we want to boast a little bit.
Yes, we do. And as I do that, I'm going to take a sip of my Guarana.
Right.
Yep.
Brazilian soda.
Brazilian soda. We got a video where we taste test this, and so you should check that out. But we're going to go into the guys who got right. I feel like we put some kind of unpopular things out there, perhaps. And I feel like on most of them, we did get it right.
I think we got a lot right.
Yeah.
And I think it just halfway through the season here, actually, I was looking at stats, and I saw that we were almost exactly halfway through the season.
Yeah.
I think the Astros played 81 games. That was the team I caught the number on.
Yeah. And we had some debates with people in the comments section, that sort of thing. And
People really did dislike some of the guys that we didn't like.
Yes. So I think we can kind of clarify what we meant by that, and you can kind of see with how it played out, what we were intending and how it kind of came to be.
Yeah.
And so I think a good one to start with is we did not like Charlie Blackmon, how high he was rated.
Right. Yeah.
And I know in one video...
Don't get us wrong. We like Charlie Blackmon.
Yeah, we like him. It's just how high he was rejected. We saw some listings where he's ranked about number 3. Most listings had him around the 6, 7, 8, 9 type range. And we just did not feel like he could repeat the year he had the year before, which would not make him a first rounder anymore.
Yeah.
And I know in one of my videos, I said, wait until the third round and take George Springer. And
That was a good call.
yes. And so I did that in at least one league. And look at the guys right now. Both of them are right about 280 batting average. And I think they have like the same amount of home runs. One might have 13, one might have 14.
Yeah.
And both of them are both, I think Blackmon might have a few more stolen bases. Blackmon doesn't have many stolen bases anymore. They're both center fielders. He's got 5.
He's got 5.
They're both center fielders. It seems like they could steal more bases, but they're not really focusing on that part.
So just to give some perspective, I'll throw it out there. He's got a 279. This is Blackmon. He's got a 279 batting average, 14 home runs, 35 RBIs, 5 stolen bases, and an 833 OPS. Not a bad season.
Not a bad season.
Not
but
terrible.
Would you call that a first rounder?
I don't know if I'd call that a first rounder.
No.
Let's look at Springer, though. Because Springer went, third round?
Yeah, I think I got him third round in the draft.
And I remember both of us were high on Springer, and he was creeping down.
Yeah.
So he's batting 260, 15 home runs, 42 RBIs, also with 5 stolen bases and a 795 OPS. So very, very similar stats in the key categories. And he went a whole 2-3 rounds later.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we were getting at when we were saying don't go after Blackmon because you got guys that are options for you down in the draft.
Yeah. Another thing is Betts went just a few picks later, and look at him, one of the best players in baseball this year.
Right. Well, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like what we thought was where Blackmon was in his career, and the year he had, and how much it stood head and shoulders above any other year he'd had before. That we just didn't feel it was repeatable. We thought he'd have a decent season like he is, but not first round quality. So let the other guys take him in the first round.
Yeah, exactly. And we did. Okay, well, one of the very unpopular opinions that I had coming into the draft, and I don't even think you agreed with me on this, and I'm probably going to get more hate mail for this, but Jose Altuve. I wasn't up for him as the number 2 overall pick. I think that's where he was going mostly, as the number 2 overall pick. Look, Altuve is a very good baseball player, and he's doing exactly what I thought he would do, and that's bat for a high average, maybe not have the kind of power we've seen him have the past couple of years. He's had 24 home runs the past 2 years. This year, he's pacing for 14 home runs. He's got 7 home runs, and actually, he's heating up a little bit now because I think he's hit 2 home runs in the past week or 2.
Okay.
But 41 RBIs and stolen bases, he's only got 11. That means if we're halfway through the season, he's going to have 22 stolen bases, 14 home runs, 82 RBIs. So for me, for the number 2 overall pick, I really want more meat for that. And that's why I was always against Altuve that low in the draft.
That high.
High in the draft.
Now, see, I did not agree with him being second. I think I forget what I put. If he fell to 5th or 6th, I started thinking about.
Right.
That never came to play because I never had a
you
pick
didn't have
in
the
that range.
opportunity. Right.
So I never took him. But I know one thing I said is I like some later second basemen because a lot of people were saying second base is so shallow, you got to take an early one. But Scooter Gennett was ranked way down there in a lot of drafts. And I believe he's second in the NL batting average. He won Player of the Month last month. And so he's tearing it up. And he was like a last pick of the draft for some people.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think some people kind of like wrote off his home run total last year because 4 came in one game, that sort of thing. And plus, he'd never really done this before. But I thought I saw a nice progression to where he was gradually improving, and he's getting up to about 28 years old. And that's a lot of times when power hitters come to their prime. And I just thought he could repeat what he did last year, but he's not only doing that, he's doing even better.
And it's all about value of pick, right?
Yeah, it is.
You were getting such a huge value for the pick for where he was going. It's like, why not take a little bit of a gamble for that value instead of putting all of your eggs in a basket going for number 2 overall pick in Altuve?
Yeah, and I think first round, you take the best player, and you don't consider value of position as much. Later in the draft, I think you do. Second, third, fourth round, whatever. But your very first pick, I think you just got to get that guaranteed production instead of going value of position.
There's nothing worse than your number 1 pick going bust on you. Yeah. Trust me, I've had that happen to me before. You don't want it.
A while back, I was really high on value of position, and I took Hanley Ramirez, like number 2 pick overall. And you can tell this was a long time ago, back when I was still in the Marlins. But that totally failed me, and I wish that I'd taken a more for sure thing.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a first baseman or whatever, you got to get that guaranteed.
You want to get the meat in your basket.
And that's why we were high on guys like Arenado.
Yes.
And he's doing it. He's
consistent.
They say it's between him and Freeman for NL MVP, just like every year. He's right up there.
Freeman's been great, too. And he was a value pick at wherever he went. I think he went like 17 or something like that. He's a value pick there.
Yeah. Yeah, Trout, Arenado, those guys that will just give it to you every year.
Yeah. What do you got next?
Well, what I want to talk about, too, is how I waited on pitching. And it's a strategy I've done a lot. I think I've done it since the beginning of playing fantasy baseball. And I think part of it is I've always thought hitters have a more predictable career arc to where you can say, like, this guy's at this point in his career, it's easy to pick him early and know you're going to get something out of him, to where pitchers burst on the scene more often.
Yeah, so it's less of a gamble and more of those guys that burst onto the scene. You could snatch them up before someone else off of waivers.
Yeah, and some past examples I used was like Jose Fernandez, Thor, Jacob deGrom, guys that I picked up very late that ended up being my ace a lot of years.
Yeah.
And like people that picked pitching early were envying the pitching I had. And so I did that again this year. I know I had some people critique me even in like while drafts were going on saying you're waiting too long on pitching. But I really think pitching has been a strength for me this year. Some of the guys I took late were Blake Snell, Jose Barrios, Johnny Cueto, Patrick Corbin, Sean Doolittle, Fulton Whites, and Sean Mania.
Yeah.
And you can tell, like I've had a couple no-hitters already. I've won pitching a lot this year in the categories. And I think that has really paid off as far as just waiting on pitching. Those guys that took Kershaw missed some time with injury with him. Of course, say Scherzer and Kluber have paid off for those people.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it really did as far as value, because if you think about it, how high you took them, you could have gotten like a Betts potentially instead of maybe taking a Betts and then later a Blake Snell like I did and put together an even better team.
Well, you could have, yeah. There's a train of thought there, but since you're talking about pitching, I'll jump down to the pitcher who I think I got right. And it's not like a huge surprise, but I did make my bold prediction on this guy, and that's Luis Severino. And I said 20-game winner wins the Cy Young. And so far this year, he's leading the league with 12 wins, so he's pacing for more than 20 wins, and he is really up there in the discussion for Cy Young in the American League. He's second in ERA with 2.10 ERA. He's sixth with strikeouts, 132. He's sixth in WHIP with .96. I mean, if Verlander wasn't having such a dominant year, I think Severino would be the only guy. Kluber's been good, but Kluber had a blip. But on that topic, though, there is one of my leagues where I went heavy pitching very early, where I got Scherzer and I got Severino, and I think I ended up, like, I rounded off with Greinke and McCullers for my top 4 starters. And I'm having a pretty good year on that team. And so, with the guys I picked up in between, I got guys like Jose Ramirez, and I got Sanchez at catcher. Unfortunately, he's on the DL now, but he's had the power. He's not really hitting as good as he should, but that's turned out pretty good as well. So, I think both of the strategies we had going in actually paid off.
Yeah,
right?
It seemed to.
And as long as you've got a plan, I think that you could bring it all together.
Yeah. I just got to notice that Bumgarner's about to start pitching.
Is he pitching today?
Yeah. So I think another guy that I've drafted several times in the past, because I saw the talent. I actually went to games and saw him hit, and I loved how the ball sounded coming off his bat. That's Brandon Belt. I just think that he hasn't had a great year yet because of tough luck. Like last year, he was on a pace to have 25 home runs and 40 doubles, got hit in the head with a pitch, and missed the rest of the year.
Yeah.
He also had another year where he's leading the majors in home runs in the first month of the year, got hit in the face in batting practice by a batted ball. And so it's been weird, tough luck. And even this year, he was going on great, had to have his appendix taken out. He's hit one home run with no appendix so far, so he's coming back.
So is he back?
He's back
now. Okay.
Yeah, he's back. He's in the lineup today, batting second. Okay. And it's because he walks so much. He's at on base percentage,
Yeah.
but they're batting him up there, so he gets on for guys. So I think that's a guy that's finally paying off, and a lot of people saw it. His last minor league season was crazy good. I think he hit 340 with 23 home runs.
Wow.
His last minor league season.
Yeah. So you're still waiting for him to put it together though for a whole season.
Yeah, so I think he's on pace to do that. He has an over 900 OPS this year, hitting over 300, on pace to walk 100 times.
Yeah,
on pace to have 25 home runs.
Right.
So I think it's finally going to pay off this year, even with having appendicitis.
Yeah. Okay, well, one more guy that I want to throw out there, and we get more pushback for the guys that we don't like compared to the guys that we like. So here's another guy, projected first round. People were high on him, and that's Trey Turner. And I wasn't high on him. And again, I mean, it's unproven. Yeah, he had one great half of a season as a rookie, but right now, I mean, look at this guy. He is he's got 21 stolen bases. So what? He's got the same amount of stolen bases as someone like Hamilton.
Yeah. Well, I believe the league leader in stolen bases, center fielder for Braves for National League.
In NCRT.
NCRT.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can beat stolen bases with the guy that was hardly even drafted.
Right. And so a 261 batting average. He's got 8 home runs, 21 RBIs, and 41 runs. 21 RBIs. He's going to end the season if he keeps his pace at 42 RBIs and 82 runs and a 742 OPS. I mean, that is not first round material right there.
And I've heard some people say, "Well, I'm okay with it. He's got stolen bases." But I don't know. I don't see how stolen bases are that valuable.
Right. For one stat, you're willing to pay the price on all of your other stats.
Yeah, because he's hurting you in batting average and RBIs.
And runs. Yeah.
And home runs.
Yeah, and home runs. And so let's just take a comparison. Here's a guy who I think I picked up off waivers, and that's Gene Segura, right? Shortstop for the Mariners. He batting .337. He's got 6 home runs, 44 RBIs, so twice as many RBIs, 53 runs. He's got 12 more runs, 843 OPS, and 14 stolen bases. So he's only got 7 less stolen bases, but he's got so many more other stats to support it. Yeah. And he was a waiver wire pickup.
Yeah, I mean, I like Lindor in the second round better. First round shortstop, I like Correa better.
And Lindor in the second round would have been so much better than Trey Turner.
I have 2 teams where I took Lindor.
He's got 19 home runs right now.
Yeah, and he steals bases, and he hits for better average.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I didn't get Trey Turner being so high on him that he's a first rounder. I could see the talent. I could see how he's one of the fastest players in baseball. Yeah. But
there's also a lot of hype there, but sometimes you can't buy into all the hype.
You know, and I've watched some games with him playing. I saw some ground balls that he did not field very well. I saw him struggle sometimes. He just seems like a guy that still needs to learn the game a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe will become a superstar in the future, but I kind of want to see it before I take him that high.
Me too, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's all the guys that I had.
You know, we could throw out a couple other deep guys. One is Brandon Crawford, which which we recommended a lot as a deep, even if you don't draft him, watch him, and he's probably going to be the starter for the All-Star game this year. So he's doing great, and we said look out for him. Another one that I was really high on is Jose Barrios, and I know I mentioned him several times. Now, I know he had a blip, but overall his year has still been very good. 3.15 ERA, 8 wins, 109 strikeouts, and 103 innings, .94 WHIP. So I think he had a couple games where he gave up, where he was pretty bad, but the rest of it he's been very ace-like.
Yeah.
And overall he's looking good. And And that's a guy that we were very high on. At least I know. I think I mentioned him in a couple videos to draft him.
Yeah, for sure. I don't really have anybody else to talk about.
All right, cool. Yeah, but there's more out there. But I think that just kind of gives us that clarification of what we meant when we weren't that high on some guys that other people are high on.
Yeah.
And it, hopefully it makes you want to watch the dumb guys next year.
Yeah. Exactly.
Draft.
And don't get us wrong. We don't hate these guys. We just didn't like where they were going in the draft. And that's what we're here to talk about is where do we project these guys going in the draft? Where are you going to get the most value? Who's going to win you your league? And that's what we're here to do is help you win your league.
Yes. So more videos coming out. We're filming a couple tonight. And then this weekend we're going to film some BP with this bat here. It's the Worth Legit Ryan Harvey model.
Softball jerseys.
Yeah, we're in our softball jerseys. And I really enjoyed making that last bat review, and it seemed to be getting decent views. And I think this will be a more popular bat. The last bat was an aluminum bat.
Let me take a look at that.
And so this is more like a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
And it's isn't this, you said it's...
It's end-loaded.
End-loaded.
And it's an ASA stamped bat. So we got a tournament coming up we're going to be playing in, and before that comes, I got to get out there and get a good feel for this, and I'll tell you what I think.
Wait, didn't you say you were in first place in one of our leagues?
God. You don't want to win by murder.
Default, win by murder. All right, well, I think that's it.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think. And
leave some comments.
Yeah, and we had some requests for an update video, and these are some guys we got right in the drafts that maybe you guys didn't agree with us, so let us know.
There it is. Stay dumb.
Yep.
Dumb guys.